to get right into questions for defensive coordinator Corey Hetherman.
Corey, we were just talking about it, but obviously first two drives they're able to get down the field, score 2 touchdowns. Rest of the game they only get 10 points, and you guys seem to buckle down a little bit. What was the biggest change you saw, the biggest adjustment between those first couple drives and the rest of the game, basically?
Yeah, I think those first 2 series, we talked about starting faster. It's kind of the opposite of what the season's been. We've started very fast, and fourth quarters were kind of the thing we talked about fixing and playing a full game and playing a 60-minute game. And I thought the first 2 series we missed some tackles. I thought we had a couple of misfits, and I thought our guys settled down after that. We kind of brought the group together on the sideline, and it's fresh start right here. Let's get going. I thought our guys really started communicating well and playing faster at that point. But we got to start faster in the game.
What was your assessment of the 2 explosive touchdowns by the receiver?
Yeah, one of them are man-to-man. We get beaten and under. The linebackers got to get back to 4.5 yards. We got to win in the first 5 on the line of scrimmage, and then once the ball comes out, we got to go tackle it. And we got to swarm better as a defense in that. And they run the same play against almost the same exact call. I think 2 series later, it's like a 10-yard gain or an 11-yard gain on that play. So we got that cleaned up, and I think it was more of just the winning in the first 5, some of our technique and fundamentals, some of our levels that we were playing at the second level there. And we got that one cleaned up after that. So.
And then the second explosive was the.
You talking about the touchdown at the end?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a different coverage. We're in a different situation. It was a 3rd down call, and that play in general, we didn't execute the disguise up front. We got to do a better job with our landmarks and where we are in our drops. We feel like that should have been a half-man tackle. Quarterback gets that ball off, it's probably going to be a first down. They hit the check down, or they hit the ball over the middle, and we just got to tackle it. We had a couple of guys had some opportunities to get them on the ground, and the biggest thing on that play was just our swarm and our finish. We had a couple of missed tackles. We didn't take some good angles, and we got to get them on the ground. We got to hold them to a field goal in that situation.
You mentioned getting them on the ground. A lot of mishaps seem compared to what you guys had the first 5. But were you surprised by the amount of tackles you guys missed, and what are you guys going to work on this week to try to clean that up?
Yeah, that's just where we were. You look at the schedule and you see bye week, game on the road, bye week, and that last week we did tackling circuit. We still had FUD. We still have different tempos in practice, and it's just getting full speed reps. It's in college football and in football in general now, no matter what level you're at, we don't tackle in practice. And anytime we're squared up, we're going to step on toes, we're going to throw our hands, we're going to thud. And we're going to we're going to push the pile, and anytime we're on the perimeter, we're going to violent tag, and we're going to work angles, and we're going to work our leverage. And those were the things that showed up in this game that I thought going up to this point, I thought we had done a better job of taking some angles, working tackling and finishing some of those reps. And that's something that we talked about watching the video as we put that game away. And as we're going to go into this week, it's just working tackling circuit again, working bite the ball, working half-man tackle, working press the hip, working wrap and roll, and working the different fundamentals and the technique to get that cleaned up.
Obviously, we will kind of neutralize your pass rush. I think the stat was 58% win rate on pass rush, but only 25% pressure rate, something like that. They were able to get the ball out quickly, kind of neutralize that. So I guess what do you have to adjust when teams try to go into those quick passing schemes?
Yeah, we'll play. And I thought, we played some different coverages. We played some zone. We played some man. As the game went on, I thought we got out of some of the pressures. Doing some different drop things in our coverages, and the ball. We kind of thought that was going to happen in the game. And as they got the lead, it was kind of run the football, stay on track, and then take quick game, take access throws, and try to chip away to get 3rd and mediums. And I thought we did a really good job after those first 2 drives of getting the 3rd and off tracks. I think they converted 1/3 and more than 4 all game. I think it was 1/3 and 10 in that last touchdown drive. Outside of that, I think they converted a 3rd and 1, a 3rd and 2, and then 1 or 2 3rd and 3s. As long as we stay ahead of the sticks, it's got to be catch. We got to tackle. We got to work our half-man tackles. We got to take a shot. It's when we miss a tackle and we don't work on good angles there. That's where that style started to hurt us a little bit. We got to make sure we're playing top down. Late in the game, we come out and we jump a first level layer throw, and they hit the 7 cut over top of us. I think a 2nd and 10 or 2nd and 11. to get back on track. And after that, I think our guys settled down. We forced some check downs. We rallied. We made some really good plays, and I thought the guys swarmed and tackled better as the game went on. And I give credit to those guys. I mean, that was a good wide receiver. He made a couple of good plays, and you take the 2 explosives away. I thought we did a good job. We just got to limit those plays, and that can't happen in that game. Same thing. I thought the back. A couple times we gave him a couple good running lanes and put his foot in the ground and get downhill. We got to do a better job of being detailed in our leverage, using our hands, knocking the line of scrimmage back. And late in the game, I thought, I put one bad call on there in the 3rd and 10. They checked to the run, and it was a really good job by them. So.
Corey, can you just explain maybe your philosophy? You touched on the receiver, when they have a top receiver, the way you guys are going to line up against someone like that. As opposed to following guys around, say you've got them boards and just how they line up. Can you just explain what you believe or why you believe?
Yeah, so we, going into the game, we did some different things, in the back end, where we had our eyes, who we were putting on certain people, and how we, in different situations, we had some personnel groupings that we wanted to work on off track and 3rd down, and try to take really both 5 and 0 out of the game. Early on, he ran away from us the one time in the under and got away from us there. And, as the game went on, we kind of had different ways of trying to take him out, or different things to try to play some different zones to stay top down through it. And, we just gotta, early in the game, I think we just gotta start faster to take them away. And then the last one, we gotta tackle better on that one. But, it'll always be, how do we take away their best players? And, I think we just had a slow start on that one. We gotta come out faster. And after that, I thought our guys really responded to it, did a good job for the rest of the game. But sometimes we'll have a plan and put a corner on them, or bracket it, or have a safety on them, and play some different levels. And each week we'll have a different game plan for how we attack people.
Corey, I think it's 7 turnovers by the offense. You guys have them all point against when on possession after. Just you speak to the defense's ability when those situations happen. Often you guys are able to lock in and be able to minimize the damage on the other end.
Yeah, we try to treat every single possession the same. It doesn't matter where the field position is, whether it was a kickoff or it was a punt or it was a takeaway. We try to, sudden change or first play of the series, first play of the game or first play of the second half. We try to treat everything the same. In practice, we take the field the same exact way every single day. In games, you probably see it. We pull the guys up every single time, and so that way it's always the same. And you can put the ball down, and we tell our guys, we're in a parking lot. Put the ball down anywhere, and it's our job to go respond. And we need to make sure we limit first downs, and we got to get the ball back for the offense. So whatever the situation is, we treat it the same all the time, so that there's no sudden change. There's no different situations part of the game. We just settle the guys down. We talk about, hey, this is what we need to do. This is what we're expecting in this situation, by field zone or by personnel grouping, or whatever the offense is doing in a certain game or a certain situation. So that way our guys settle down, we go out, we take the field, and we play with confidence every single time, like nothing happened.
This was the first game where the opponent had success in the run game in particular. What do you think led to that from your side of things?
Yeah, I think, early on we had a misfit. There were 5 runs over 10 yards. And, the very first play of the game, we just had a misfit. We're a look that we've seen a lot of, and we're there, and we kind of get Velcro on the tight end, and we got the two players to fit it, and we get to tackle it, and then we miss a tackle. I thought that the 28-yarder, we had a guy peek out of the gap. We got fit up, and it's something we talked about during the week. It happened in practice on Monday and Tuesday, I think, and a lot of times what happens in practice happens in a game, and we just got to get that cleaned up. We talked about it with the guys. Late in the game, I thought one of them was on me. I put a call on that kind of guessed wrong on it, and it hurt us in that situation, and our guys responded, and they made the play after that. The defense did a really good job of getting us back on track after that play. And it was something they really hadn't shown. I think he's shown it in the Notre Dame game last year. It's really the only other time that they kind of showed that type of thing. And the second, they got to it, I saw what was happening. But I thought our guys after those first couple responded well, and then, but it was the 5 runs of 10 or more that hurt us in the stat sheet. And we talk about the explosive game and then the big play game. we gave up the 3 explosives, which resulted really in 24 points, and then you give up 5 runs over 10 yards, that's gonna hurt you in the stat sheet. We had talked to the guys all week, was we gotta stop the run. I think they had 107 total rushing yards in the ACC play. And that was the goal, was to stop the run, make them one-dimensional, so we can do different things to some of the receivers. And we gotta start faster, stopping the run early in the game.
Awesome, thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, guys.